You have got to be at the right place with a sign like this out front, and with a really cool race car out front as well. This is all about Speedway Motors, Museum of American Speed, a huge facility crammed full of a lot of really wonderful race cars and historic automobiles. Let's take a look. Welcome to Road Odyssey. If you like the videos that I provide, please subscribe, and if you're on Rumble, please follow. What could possibly be the nature of this little street with a race car sitting out front of the building? An old one too. Yep, Speedway Motors, Museum of American Speed. Be sure to check when they're open because the times do alter. Very affordable admission prices, and it is a fantastic place to visit, voted #1 in USA Today. Walking into this fine establishment, you notice immediately this is going to be a cool museum with this 35 Miller Ford race car. As we begin our little tour, starting out with the Miller Gallery. This is all the engines and design and all that good jazz. Let me tell you a little bit about the museum. There is a museumofamericanspeed.com website. I suggest checking that out. This museum was founded in 1992 by Speedy Bill and Joyce Smith. It is dedicated to preserving, interpreting, and displaying physical items significant in racing and automotive history. They also host educational and family-friendly events. The Indianapolis Motor Speedway section is wonderful to gaze at. Let's trip on in and see what they got. As you gaze around, more and more engines everywhere. Plus, you'll see all kinds of memorabilia and old storefronts and garage fronts to give you a good throwback feel of the heydays of the Indianapolis racing time period. This white number 27 was from 1915 for the Indianapolis. Let's take a quick look at this and listen to a little old music. This car dates back to 1935. It is called the Chicago Rawhide Special. At the 1935 Indy 500, this car was qualified at almost 122 miles per hour. This number 81 Central Excavating Special, built in 1951, used from 51 to 54, retired in 1955, had a win or two, also had an issue or two. Number 56 is the Mallard Turbo Offie. Please be sure to look at this closely. Built in 67 and 68, it made 30th position at 162 miles per hour. In 68, it set the world's closed course record at Daytona at almost 192 miles per hour. So it had a pretty cool history. And finally, around between 72 and 81, it was retired. This next car is a 73 Viceroy VPJ2. This car was driven by Al Unser and actually didn't really survive the races. Kind of like some of the pants that were worn by the gentlemen at that time. There were actually many sprint cars of variety. So if you like that type of thing, man, this place has got some really good ones. And just a few more really cool dirt track cars. Now this Pikes Peak Corvette was pretty interesting. This had a C5 body and the small block Chevy, a Hewland transmission, and a full custom suspension. I really enjoyed this room. It made you feel like you were going back in time in the 1960s. This is a mishmash of a car built in the 1950s of either a 22 or 23 Dodge touring car along with a 27 Ford Model T pickup. So a very unique car with a Corvette V8 engine from many moons ago. It was used in the 64 movie called The Lively Set starring James Dean. Going down the main hallway, looking off to your right, you'll see this magnificent room full of just more and more engines. Now, whether these are going to also be part of future project cars that they will put on display, don't know yet. This is called the California Star, designed by Don Werner and built by Ron Covell, 1984. Really cool, handcrafted aluminum car. This is called the Emperor, won America's Most Beautiful Roadster Award at the 1960 Oakland Roadster Show. This interesting roadster, 1968, is Wild Dream. Chrome-plated chassis, full coil suspension, and a 1960 fuel-injected Corvette 283. These next few cars are a part of the Don Riddler Memorial Award. I'm going to let you just gaze upon these. They are beautiful. I don't really want to talk all over them. Now I'm also going to take a break from talking and just give you a look around at the workshop that's in this same area. Now, getting to this point, I passed up a lot of the speed cars, the land speed record cars. This was more of an eye candy opportunity to me than anything else. These are just eye-popping automobiles here as well. I'm going to browse through these cars pretty quick. So starting with the little coffin car, it was originated off of a 1932 Ford Tudor. The poor car had had some problems, caught fire once, eventually being completely restored to its 1964 little coffin configuration back in 2009. This is the Red Baron, based off of a kid's model car from the 67-68 era. This was built in 69 by a couple of guys. It cost them $10,000. The engine is a 1968 Pontiac overhead cam inline 6 engine. The name of the car is based on the World War I fighting ace Red Baron from Germany. Pretty cool. Well, we're having some interesting cars here. Now we're at the Boot Hill Express. I won't tell you all the cool history about this, but just have an idea that Ed Roth was a part of this. It is sporting a 426 Hemi with a Chrysler push-button 727 automatic transmission that runs to a 1948 Ford Banjo rear end. And if it's not weird enough, this thing has a Volkswagen steering box up front. topped with a Model T steering wheel. Now for the Speedway Special. Based off of a 32 Ford Hot Rod, this car is quote-unquote like a Frankenstein, where everything has been ferreted out from something else. You just got to read up on this car. It is amazing. The Falcon 12, this car is built and based on the concepts related to a 1930 race between a Bentley and a freight train driving 786 miles throughout the night. The car beat the train by 15 minutes. So this is kind of related to that story. So look up the history of this car. It's really fascinating. Let's time warp into some weird spacey cars. You're looking at Starbird's Cosma Ray. This has a dual carb 327 V8, 505 Magnum cam. Yep, it could get up and go. Featured in the Mission Impossible TV series in 1966. And it's probably fairly believable that this was built off of a 1964 Corvette Stingray that had already 4,000 miles on it. What could this be? Well, it's the Predicta. This was built off of a 1957 Thunderbird. It was one of the first predominant bubble top cars to get out in the car show scene. And under the hood is a 392 Hemi. Features a mono stick center steering handle, push button controls, a TV, and dual foot pedal controls. And this just led us deeper into, well, the past of some really cool dragsters. These were really, really beautiful cars. And just a really nice lineup all around. Just really, really fun to take a gander at and learn about. I'm sorry, I'm going to move past these and go upstairs to something different. Getting up on this second floor, predominantly Model T Ford Gallery, Flathead Ford Gallery, Midget Racer Gallery. Looking at these old throwback displays that are seemingly quite accurate to, a large degree to give you enough of a feel of what it was, 100 years ago? So just really fantastic work prepared by the museum. Just absolutely enjoyable. I mean, this is what a museum is all about. I'm going to give you and myself a break from all these voiceovers, play a little bit more music over these fantastic race cars, and I've really got to impress upon you the fact that there are so many car displays. I have so many that are not in this video. It would be probably a 2-hour-long video to show you everything at this place. At minimum, that would be almost a hit and run just in itself, not even including all of the really neat memorabilia that goes along with all of this stuff. It is just a huge place, and I'm not even getting up to the third floor. And I believe they're going to have an addition to this whole building. This is massive, massive amounts of, the world of speed and automobile. And, you know, if you're a car enthusiast, 10, 15 bucks, man, you get your money's worth. You really, really do. I really think you'll enjoy this.